Have you ever noticed how some people seem to enjoy testing your boundaries? They interrupt, make passive-aggressive remarks, or act as though your time and feelings don't matter. Should you just smile and let it go? Not today. If you're tired of tolerating disrespect, this is the video for you. Today, I'm sharing honest and bold ways to handle disrespect while keeping your cool and maintaining your self-respect. By the end of this video, you'll have the tools you need to set clear boundaries and show exactly where the line is drawn. Let's dive in. Solution 1. Embrace the silent stare. Have you ever tried the power of a silent stare? It might sound too simple, but it's one of the most effective techniques out there. When someone is rude or disrespectful, nothing unsettles them more than a calm, steady, silent gaze. Disrespectful people thrive on reactions. They want you to get flustered, fight back, or try to explain yourself. But when you meet their behavior with nothing but silence and a steady gaze, the power dynamic shifts instantly. Let me share a story. I was at a family gathering where one relative wouldn't stop criticizing everything: the food, the decor, even people's stories. When they turned their criticism toward me, I didn't argue or react. I just looked at them silently, expressionless. They became visibly uncomfortable, fumbling over their words, and eventually stopped. For the rest of the event, they left me alone. That silent stare was far more effective than any argument I could have made. Here's the key. The silent stare isn't aggressive. It's about showing that you won't be drawn into their negativity. People who habitually disrespect others often do so thoughtlessly, without ever being confronted. By meeting them with calm silence, you become a mirror, reflecting their actions back at them. This technique doesn't just stop their behavior, it strengthens your own sense of self-respect. You're reminding yourself that their words or actions can't shake you. So, next time someone is rude or crosses a line, don't argue or explain. Try the silent stare. Let them feel the weight of their actions in the silence. Solution 2. Embrace silence as your answer. Have you ever realized that silence can be a powerful weapon? When someone disrespects you, sometimes the strongest response is no response at all. It might seem counterintuitive, like you're letting them get away with it. But silence is a choice, and it's anything but weak. By staying silent, you refuse to give their negativity any power over you. You're saying, "I'm not giving you my energy." People who disrespect others often expect a reaction. They're looking for an argument, a defense, or even a sign of confusion. But silence says, "I'm not playing your game." Let me give you an example. I once had a friend who loved to make jokes at my expense, masking insults as humor. One day, they made a particularly rude comment about my personal life. Instead of defending myself or firing back, I simply looked at them and said nothing. I let their words hang in the air. The awkward silence was unbearable, for them, not for me. After that, they stopped making those comments altogether. Silence is powerful because it strips negativity of the attention it craves. By staying silent, you're choosing peace over conflict, showing that you value your energy more than their opinions. I'll admit, embracing silence wasn't easy for me at first. I used to feel like I had to defend myself to avoid looking weak, but every time I responded to disrespect, I ended up feeling drained. When I started staying silent instead, I felt lighter and more in control. Silence became a way to reclaim my power. So the next time someone disrespects you, try this. Take a deep breath, look them in the eye, and say nothing. Let your silence be your answer. You'll be amazed at how empowering it feels. Solution 3. Stop explaining your choices. Why is it that every personal decision you make seems to invite questions? Why did you choose that? Why didn't you do this? Why did you leave that job? It's as if people feel entitled to know the reasons behind every choice you make. Here's the truth. You don't owe anyone an explanation for how you live your life. Your choices are yours alone, and you don't need to justify them to anyone. When someone questions your decisions, they're rarely looking to understand. Often, they just want to judge or pressure you into rethinking. Maybe your choices challenge their worldview, or maybe they're projecting their insecurities onto you. Either way, you don't have to play along. I'll share a personal example. When I decided to change careers, people couldn't stop asking me why. At first, I explained about my passion and my plans, but the more I explained, the more people questioned me. One day, I stopped explaining. When someone asked why, I simply said, "Because I want to." The silence that followed was priceless. Eventually, they stopped asking altogether. The beauty of not explaining yourself is that it sets you free. It shows that you're confident in your choices and don't need outside approval. Remember, your life doesn't need to be a public debate. Your decisions are valid simply because you made them. So, next time someone questions you, resist the urge to explain. Just say, "Because I want to," and leave it at that. Watch how powerful that simple statement can be. Solution 4. Keep your distance. Have you ever felt like no matter how much effort you put in, some people simply refuse to respect you? Here's a hard truth. Not everyone deserves a front row seat in your life. If someone continually disrespects you, one of the healthiest things you can do is create distance. This doesn't mean you hate them or hold a grudge. It means you value yourself enough to protect your peace and energy. Maintaining distance isn't about being cold or dismissive. It's about choosing where and how to invest your emotional resources. Think of your life as a private club with restricted access. Not everyone gets a VIP pass. If someone consistently crosses boundaries, makes you feel uneasy, or drains your energy, it's time to reevaluate their role in your life. Giving them less access to you doesn't make you cruel, it makes you wise. Let me share a story. I had a friend who constantly threw subtle digs at me, criticizing my choices, my work, even my hobbies. At first, I made excuses for their behavior, telling myself, "That's just how they are." But over time, those little comments started to wear me down. I realized I was walking on eggshells every time we interacted, bracing myself for the next criticism. One day, I decided to step back. I didn't confront them or make a dramatic statement. I just started seeing them less. Instead of weekly meetups, it became monthly. I limited the time I spent around them, and the effect was immediate. I felt lighter, freer, and more in control of my emotional well-being. Here's the thing. Creating distance doesn't mean cutting someone off completely. It means setting boundaries that protect your mental health. It's about prioritizing your peace over their opinions or judgments. Some people might say, "But they're family," or "You've known them for years." Society often teaches us to be endlessly forgiving, but at what cost? Protecting your peace isn't selfish, it's necessary. When you distance yourself from those who don't respect you, you're not just preserving your energy, you're making space for people who uplift and support you. Surround yourself with those who respect your boundaries and celebrate your growth. You deserve relationships that nurture you, not drain you. So here's my challenge to you. Think about the people in your life who consistently cross the line. Ask yourself, do they deserve the access they currently have to me? If the answer is no, it's time to set some boundaries. Solution 5. Hold your head high. Have you ever felt like someone is deliberately trying to make you feel small, as if they enjoy seeing you doubt yourself? In those moments, the advice to hold your head high might sound cliché, but it's one of the most powerful things you can do. When someone disrespects you, they're often testing your confidence. They want to see you falter, to doubt your worth. But when you stand tall and hold your head high, you send a clear message. I know my value, and nothing you say or do will diminish it. Confidence unsettles those who try to tear others down. People who habitually disrespect others rely on the belief that their words or actions can shake you. But when you refuse to let their negativity touch you, when you walk with confidence and self-assurance, you disrupt their narrative. I remember dealing with someone who seemed to take pleasure in belittling me every chance they got. At first, I'd try to defend myself or brush it off, but it always left me feeling drained. One day, I decided enough was enough. The next time they made a snide remark, I didn't react. I stood tall, smiled, and carried on as if their words didn't matter, which, honestly, they didn't. The change was immediate. They backed off, realizing their words had no power over me anymore. Holding my head high didn't just shut them down, it reminded me of my own strength. Here's the thing, holding your head high isn't just about physical posture, it's about your mental posture too. It's about knowing that your worth isn't up for debate. You don't need anyone's validation to feel good about yourself. When you walk into a room, do it like you belong there. When someone throws a disrespectful comment your way, let it roll off your back. They're not seeing the real you, they're projecting their own insecurities onto you. Holding your head high is a simple yet powerful act of self-respect. It's a reminder to yourself and others that you deserve to be treated with dignity. And when you live with that kind of confidence, the opinions of disrespectful people lose their power over you. Closing thoughts. Life is too short to waste time trying to please people who don't respect you. Remember, respect starts with you. When you set boundaries, hold your head high, and protect your peace, you're sending a powerful message. I value myself, and I won't accept anything less from others. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like and subscribe for more content about building confidence and thriving in life. Share this video with anyone who might need a reminder to stand strong, and leave a comment below about your experiences with setting boundaries or handling disrespect. I'd love to hear your stories. Until next time, take care, stay strong, and always remember that respect begins with you. Solution 6. Set firm boundaries. Have you ever felt like people keep crossing the line even after you've made your feelings clear? Setting boundaries is one of the most important tools you have when dealing with disrespect. But here's the catch. It only works if you enforce them consistently and firmly. A boundary isn't just about telling someone what's okay and what's not. It's about showing them through your actions that you mean it. Think of boundaries as invisible fences. They define the space where your peace, energy, and self-respect are protected. The first step in setting a boundary is clarity. You need to know exactly what behavior you won't tolerate. Is it constant interruptions, passive-aggressive comments, dismissive behavior? Once you've identified the issue, the next step is to communicate it clearly and calmly. For example, let's say someone keeps interrupting you during meetings. You could say, "I noticed that I'm often interrupted when I'm speaking. I'd appreciate it if we could all take turns to share our thoughts." This isn't confrontational, it's direct and respectful. But here's the key. Boundaries mean nothing if you don't enforce them. If the person interrupts you again, follow up with, "I was in the middle of sharing something. Let me finish, and then I'd love to hear your input." By calmly asserting yourself, you show them that you take your boundaries seriously. There's a reason why some people push boundaries. They're testing to see how far they can go. If you let it slide once, they'll think they can do it again. But when you stand firm, you're teaching them how to treat you. Let me share a personal experience. I had a colleague who would constantly dismiss my ideas in meetings. At first, I stayed quiet, thinking I didn't want to cause conflict. But the more I stayed silent, the worse it got. Finally, I decided to set a boundary. The next time they interrupted, I calmly said, "I'd like to finish my point, and then I'd be happy to hear your perspective." It was uncomfortable at first, but it worked. Over time, they stopped dismissing me because they knew I wouldn't tolerate it. Boundaries aren't just about protecting yourself. They're about teaching others how to respect you. They're a declaration of your self-worth. Here's an important reminder. Boundaries aren't about changing other people. They're about changing how you respond to them. You can't control how someone acts, but you can control how much access they have to you. If someone continues to disrespect your boundaries despite your best efforts, it's time to ask yourself if they deserve a place in your life. Not everyone is willing to respect the lines you draw, and that's okay. Your responsibility is to yourself, to protect your peace and prioritize your well-being. So here's my challenge to you. Think about an area in your life where someone is crossing the line. What boundary do you need to set, and how will you enforce it? Remember, boundaries aren't just about saying no, they're about saying yes to yourself. Solution 7. Master the art of non-reaction. Have you ever noticed how some people thrive on provoking you? They say or do things just to get a rise out of you. But here's a powerful truth. You don't have to give them the satisfaction of your reaction. Non-reaction is a skill, and mastering it can completely shift the power dynamic in your favor. When someone disrespects you, they're often trying to control your emotions. They want to see you upset, defensive, or flustered. But when you respond with calm indifference, you take away their power. Let me give you an example. I once had a co-worker who loved to make snide comments during team meetings. At first, I felt the need to defend myself or fire back, but that only escalated the situation. Then I decided to try something different. Every time they made a comment, I simply ignored it. I stayed focused on my work and acted as if their words had no effect on me. It was frustrating for them because they weren't getting the reaction they wanted. Over time, they stopped targeting me because they realized I wasn't an easy target. And when you live with that kind of confidence, the opinions of disrespectful people lose their power over you. Closing thoughts. Life is too short to waste time trying to please people who don't respect you. Remember, respect starts with you. When you set boundaries, hold your head high, and protect your peace, you're sending a powerful message. I value myself, and I won't accept anything less from others. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like and subscribe for more content about building confidence and thriving in life. Share this video with anyone who might need a reminder to stand strong, and leave a comment below about your experiences with setting boundaries or handling disrespect. I'd love to hear your stories. Until next time, take care, stay strong, and always remember that respect begins with you. Solution 6. Set firm boundaries. Have you ever felt like people keep crossing the line even after you've made your feelings clear? Setting boundaries is one of the most important tools you have when dealing with disrespect. But here's the catch. It only works if you enforce them consistently and firmly. A boundary isn't just about telling someone what's okay and what's not. It's about showing them through your actions that you mean it. Think of boundaries as invisible fences. They define the space where your peace, energy, and self-respect are protected. The first step in setting a boundary is clarity. You need to know exactly what behavior you won't tolerate. Is it constant interruptions, passive-aggressive comments, dismissive behavior? Once you've identified the issue, the next step is to communicate it clearly and calmly. For example, let's say someone keeps interrupting you during meetings. You could say, "I noticed that I'm often interrupted when I'm speaking. I'd appreciate it if we could all take turns to share our thoughts." This isn't confrontational, It's direct and respectful. But here's the key. Boundaries mean nothing if you don't enforce them. If the person interrupts you again, follow up with, "I was in the middle of sharing something. Let me finish, and then I'd love to hear your input." By calmly asserting yourself, you show them that you take your boundaries seriously. There's a reason why some people push boundaries. They're testing to see how far they can go. If you let it slide once, they'll think they can do it again. But when you stand firm, you're teaching them how to treat you. Let me share a personal experience. I had a colleague who would constantly dismiss my ideas in meetings. At first, I stayed quiet, thinking I didn't want to cause conflict. But the more I stayed silent, the worse it got. Finally, I decided to set a boundary. The next time they interrupted, I calmly said, "I'd like to finish my point, and then I'd be happy to hear your perspective." It was uncomfortable at first, but it worked. Over time, they stopped dismissing me because they knew I wouldn't tolerate it. Boundaries aren't just about protecting yourself. They're about teaching others how to respect you. They're a declaration of your self-worth. Here's an important reminder. Boundaries aren't about changing other people. They're about changing how you respond to them. You can't control how someone acts, but you can control how much access they have to you. If someone continues to disrespect your boundaries despite your best efforts, it's time to ask yourself if they deserve a place in your life. Not everyone is willing to respect the lines you draw, and that's okay. Your responsibility is to yourself, to protect your peace and prioritize your well-being. So here's my challenge to you. Think about an area in your life where someone is crossing the line. What boundary do you need to set, and how will you enforce it? Remember, boundaries aren't just about saying no, they're about saying yes to yourself. Solution 7. Master the art of non-reaction. Have you ever noticed how some people thrive on provoking you? They say or do things just to get a rise out of you. But here's a powerful truth. You don't have to give them the satisfaction of your reaction. Non-reaction is a skill, and mastering it can completely shift the power dynamic in your favor. When someone disrespects you, they're often trying to control your emotions. They want to see you upset, defensive, or flustered. But when you respond with calm indifference, you take away their power. Let me give you an example. I once had a co-worker who loved to make snide comments during team meetings. At first, I felt the need to defend myself or fire back, but that only escalated the situation. Then I decided to try something different. Every time they made a comment, I simply ignored it. I stayed focused on my work and acted as if their words had no effect on me. It was frustrating for them because they weren't getting the reaction they wanted. Over time, they stopped targeting me because they realized I wasn't an easy target. Solution 9. Don't take it personally. One of the hardest but most liberating truths to accept is this. Most of the time, other people's disrespect isn't really about you, it's about them. When someone behaves disrespectfully, it often stems from their own insecurities, frustrations, or lack of emotional maturity. Understanding this can be a game changer. It doesn't mean you have to tolerate their behavior, but it helps you depersonalize the situation and avoid letting it affect your self-esteem. For example, if someone dismisses your ideas in a meeting, it might be because they feel threatened by your contributions or are projecting their own insecurities onto you. Recognizing this doesn't excuse their behavior, but it can help you respond from a place of understanding rather than defensiveness. Here's a story to illustrate this point. I once had a manager who was incredibly critical of everyone's work, including mine. At first, I took it personally, thinking I wasn't good enough, but over time I noticed that they were just as critical of others, often making unfair and exaggerated comments. That's when I realized their behavior wasn't about me, It was about their own struggles with control and perfectionism. Once I stopped taking it personally, their criticism lost its sting. I could listen to their feedback objectively, take what was useful, and let the rest go. When you stop taking disrespect personally, you regain your power. You're no longer giving others control over your emotions or self-worth. Instead, you're recognizing their behavior for what it is, a reflection of them, not you. Of course, this doesn't mean you should tolerate ongoing disrespect. It's still important to set boundaries and protect your peace. But when you stop internalizing other people's negativity, it becomes much easier to address their behavior without letting it affect your sense of self. Here's a simple mindset shift to help you with this. The next time someone disrespects you, pause and remind yourself, this says more about them than it does about me. Take a deep breath and decide how you want to respond, not based on their behavior, but based on your own values and sense of self-respect. When you stop taking disrespect personally, you free yourself from the emotional weight of other people's actions. You become more resilient, more confident, and better equipped to handle life's challenges with grace and strength. Solution 10. Lead by example. One of the most powerful ways to handle disrespect is to model the behavior you want to see. By demonstrating respect, kindness, and emotional intelligence, you set the standard for how others should treat you and those around you. Leading by example doesn't mean tolerating poor treatment. It means showing others that dignity and respect are non-negotiable values. When someone disrespects you, responding with the same negativity only perpetuates the cycle. Instead, rise above their behavior. This approach not only preserves your self-respect, but often leaves a lasting impression on the other person. For example, I once worked with someone who constantly interrupted me during meetings. It was frustrating, but instead of snapping back or cutting them off in return, I began making a point to let them finish speaking before calmly saying, "I'd like to add to that," or "May I finish my thought?" This approach not only regained control of the conversation, but also subtly reminded them of the importance of mutual respect. Over time, they started interrupting less, not just with me, but with others too. Leading by example shows strength, not weakness. It demonstrates that you value respect so deeply that you're willing to practice it even in the face of negativity. This consistency builds your reputation as someone who values integrity and self-control, making it harder for others to justify their poor behavior toward you. Another key aspect of leading by example is maintaining your composure. Disrespectful people often thrive on chaos and emotional reactions. When you remain calm and collected, you not only protect your peace, but also deny them the satisfaction of disrupting your equilibrium. This doesn't mean you ignore disrespect or allow others to walk all over you. It's about finding the balance between standing up for yourself and staying true to your values. When you address disrespect with composure and clarity, you not only protect your own dignity, but also encourage others to rise to the same standard. By leading with respect, you're not just addressing the immediate issue, you're creating a ripple effect that can inspire positive change in your relationships, your workplace, and beyond. Remember, your actions set the tone for how others perceive and interact with you. When you model the respect you want to receive, you show others that respect isn't just expected, it's essential. Final thoughts. Respect starts with you. Dealing with disrespect can be challenging, but it's also an opportunity to grow stronger and more confident in yourself. Respecting yourself sets the foundation for how others treat you, and it starts with the choices you make in responding to negativity. Each of the strategies we've discussed, embracing silence, setting boundaries, holding your head high, and leading by example, offers a unique way to assert your worth without losing your cool. These aren't just tools for handling difficult people, they're principles for building a life rooted in self-respect and resilience. Here's the key takeaway. You don't have to tolerate disrespect or let it diminish your sense of self-worth. You have the power to stand tall, protect your peace, and focus your energy on what truly matters, your growth, happiness, and relationships that uplift you. When you prioritize your well-being and refuse to entertain negativity, you send a powerful message to the world. You are worthy of respect, and nothing less will do. The more you embody this mindset, the more you'll find people gravitating toward you with kindness and admiration. And for those who persist in their disrespect, remember this: their behavior reflects their insecurities and limitations, not your value. Let them carry their own burdens while you continue to rise above with grace and dignity. Thank you for joining me on this journey to discover practical ways to handle disrespect. If these insights resonated with you, take a moment to reflect on how you can apply them in your own life. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to share it with someone who might need a reminder of their worth. Leave a comment below sharing your thoughts or experiences. I'd love to hear how you've handled disrespect and what strategies have worked for you. Let's inspire and empower one another to create lives built on mutual respect and understanding. Until next time, take care, stay strong, and always remember, respect starts with you. Building a foundation of self-respect. Respect is not just something we demand from others. It's something we cultivate within ourselves first. When you embody self-respect, it influences every aspect of your life, from your relationships to the way you handle challenges and setbacks. It's the cornerstone of confidence and inner peace. By choosing not to engage in negativity, holding your boundaries, and standing firm in your values, you're not only asserting your worth, but also inspiring others to treat you with the respect you deserve. These strategies aren't about confrontation, they're about transformation. They empower you to rise above petty behavior and stay grounded in your truth. Remember, handling disrespect gracefully doesn't mean you're weak or passive. It means you've mastered the art of prioritizing your mental and emotional well-being. Whether it's through a silent stare, embracing silence, or distancing yourself from toxic individuals, you're reclaiming your power and energy for what truly matters. As you navigate life, you'll encounter people who don't see your value or who project their insecurities onto you. But their opinions don't define you. Your response does. Choose to respond with confidence, clarity, and calm. By doing so, you not only protect your peace, but also set an example for others to follow. Your journey to self-respect and resilience is uniquely yours. Embrace it fully, knowing that every step you take toward valuing yourself is a step toward living a more fulfilling, empowered life. Thank you for watching and taking the time to invest in your personal growth. If this video resonated with you, please like and subscribe for more empowering content. Share your thoughts or experiences in the comments below. I'd love to hear how you've handled disrespect in your own life. Together, let's continue building a community of strength, wisdom, and mutual respect. Until next time, remember, you are worthy, you are strong, and your self-respect is your greatest asset. Stay true to yourself, and never let anyone dim your light. Stop explaining your choices. One of the most liberating shifts in life is realizing that you don't owe anyone an explanation for your choices. The way you live your life, the decisions you make, and the path you walk are entirely yours. Too often, people feel entitled to question your actions or push their opinions on you, but here's the truth: you don't need their approval. When someone questions your decisions, whether it's about your career, relationships, or personal preferences, they're often not genuinely curious. Instead, they may be looking for a way to challenge or validate their own beliefs. They might feel threatened by your independence or even envious of your courage to make unconventional choices. Explaining yourself to them only opens the door for judgment or unwelcome opinions. For example, if you decide to leave a well-paying job to pursue a passion project, people might ask why. Instead of diving into detailed justifications, simply respond, "It's the right choice for me." That short, confident answer conveys your self-assurance and ends the conversation. You don't owe them a breakdown of your thought process or a defense of your priorities. By choosing not to explain yourself, you take control of the narrative. You assert that your life isn't up for debate, and your choices don't need to be validated by anyone but you. This doesn't mean shutting people out or refusing advice. It means knowing when to stand firm in your decisions without seeking approval. This shift in mindset is transformative. You'll feel lighter, more confident, and less burdened by the opinions of others. Instead of wasting energy on explanations, you can focus on living authentically and pursuing what truly matters to you. So the next time someone questions your choices, resist the urge to explain. A simple, confident statement like, "This is what works best for me," is all you need. You'll find that the less you justify yourself, the more empowered you'll feel to live life on your own terms. Keep your distance. Sometimes, the best way to deal with people who disrespect you is to simply create space. Not everyone deserves a front row seat in your life, and it's okay to draw boundaries that protect your peace and well-being. Keeping your distance isn't about being cold or dismissive. It's about recognizing your own worth and ensuring your energy is spent on relationships that uplift you. We often cling to relationships out of habit, guilt, or obligation, even when they leave us feeling drained or diminished. Perhaps it's a friend who constantly makes subtle jabs at your choices, or a family member who never misses an opportunity to criticize. Whatever the case, tolerating their behavior only reinforces the idea that it's acceptable. I once had a colleague who thrived on cutting others down. Every conversation seemed to include some passive-aggressive remark or unwarranted criticism. For a while, I tried to brush it off or engage diplomatically, but it always left me feeling frustrated. Finally, I decided to create distance, not by making a dramatic exit, but by gradually reducing contact and setting firm boundaries. Over time, the negativity faded from my life, and I felt an incredible sense of relief. Creating distance doesn't mean burning bridges or holding grudges. It simply means prioritizing your mental and emotional health. If someone's presence consistently brings negativity into your life, it's a sign that they don't deserve the level of access they currently have. You can still be cordial and kind without letting them occupy too much space in your thoughts or time. When you put space between yourself and those who disrespect you, you make room for healthier relationships to flourish. You allow yourself to focus on people who truly value and respect you, and you gain the clarity to see the toxic dynamics for what they are. Here's an important reminder. Protecting your peace is not selfish. It's essential. You're not obligated to maintain relationships with people who don't respect your boundaries, no matter who they are. Whether it's a friend, colleague, or even a family member, you have every right to step back and preserve your well-being. The next time someone disrespects you, take a moment to reflect. Are they consistently bringing negativity into your life? If so, consider how you can create some distance, whether it's seeing them less frequently, limiting conversations, or establishing firmer boundaries. You'll find that even small steps can make a big difference in reclaiming your peace and self-respect. Hold your head high. Disrespect often comes with an attempt to make you feel small, insignificant, or unworthy. In these moments, one of the most powerful things you can do is hold your head high. This simple act is a silent declaration of your self-worth, a way of saying, I know my value, and your words or actions will not diminish it. When someone disrespects you, they often expect you to react in a way that confirms their power, perhaps by shrinking back, getting defensive, or questioning yourself. By standing tall and holding your head high, you shatter their expectations. You show them that their negativity has no power over you. Confidence can be unsettling for those who thrive on putting others down. They rely on the idea that their words or actions can control your emotions, but when you refuse to waver, when you meet their negativity with unwavering self-assurance, you take back the power they hoped to steal from you. I remember a time when someone in my social circle took pleasure in making cutting remarks about me in front of others. Each comment was designed to chip away at my confidence, and for a while, it worked. I found myself avoiding eye contact, feeling small, and questioning my worth. But one day, I decided I was done letting their words affect me. At the next gathering, I walked in with my head held high, my shoulders back, and a calm smile on my face. When they made another snide remark, I looked them in the eye, smiled, and continued as if their comment didn't exist. The shift was palpable. They didn't know how to respond, and their remarks quickly lost their sting. Holding your head high isn't just about physical posture. It's about your mental and emotional stance as well. It's a way of saying, I am confident in who I am, and your opinion doesn't define me. This kind of self-assurance doesn't just protect you from disrespect. It also inspires others to see you as someone who commands respect. Here's the truth. Your worth is not determined by someone else's opinion. By holding your head high, you remind yourself and others that you are deserving of respect simply because you exist. It's not about arrogance, it's about self-respect. The next time someone tries to belittle you or make you feel small, straighten your back, lift your chin, and look them in the eye. Let your body language convey what your words don't need to say. I respect myself, and nothing you do can take that away from me. You'll feel stronger, more centered, and more in control, and those who disrespect you will sense that their negativity has no place in your world. Respect starts with you. Disrespect, whether intentional or not, can only persist if we allow it. The foundation of all respect begins within. How we see, value, and treat ourselves directly impacts how others perceive and treat us. If you want others to respect you, the first step is to respect yourself. This means setting boundaries, speaking up when needed, and refusing to tolerate behavior that makes you feel less than you are. It's about embracing your worth and refusing to compromise on the standards you set for yourself. People often mirror the energy you project. When you exude self-respect, others are far more likely to follow suit. Respecting yourself also means valuing your time and energy. Not everyone deserves a place in your life, and it's okay to let go of relationships or situations that consistently bring negativity. Creating a life filled with people who uplift and encourage you is not selfish. It's essential for your growth and peace of mind. One of the hardest lessons I've learned is that not everyone will see or appreciate your value, and that's okay. You don't need universal approval to validate your worth. When you prioritize self-respect, you develop an inner confidence that no amount of negativity can shake. Start with small acts of self-respect. Speak kindly to yourself, set aside time for self-care, and remind yourself daily that your worth isn't tied to anyone else's opinion. Over time, these small actions will build a foundation of unshakable confidence, making it easier to handle disrespect with grace and assertiveness. Silence as strength. Silence is one of the most underutilized tools in asserting self-respect and handling disrespect. Many people associate silence with weakness or passivity, but in reality, it is a form of power that few can wield effectively. When someone disrespects you, your silence can speak louder than words, disrupting their intent and shifting the dynamic of the situation. Disrespect often thrives on reactions. A snide comment, a passive-aggressive remark, or a deliberate attempt to provoke is designed to elicit a response: anger, frustration, or defensiveness. By choosing silence, you deny the instigator the satisfaction of a reaction. Instead, you leave their words hanging in the air, forcing them to confront their own behavior without your involvement. Silence is not avoidance. It's a deliberate choice that conveys confidence and control. It says, "Your words don't affect me, and I refuse to engage on your terms." This kind of strength can be disarming, leaving the other person with nothing to push against. I remember a time when someone I worked with consistently undermined my ideas in meetings. Initially, I felt the need to defend myself, to explain why my ideas were valid. But one day, instead of responding, I simply paused, maintained eye contact, and said nothing. The silence was palpable, and they quickly shifted their tone. Over time, their attempts to diminish my voice faded because I had shown that I wouldn't rise to their bait. Silence is also a way to conserve your energy. Responding to every slight or insult can be exhausting, draining you of the mental and emotional bandwidth needed for more meaningful pursuits. By choosing silence, you protect your peace and demonstrate that not every comment or behavior deserves your attention. Using silence effectively requires practice and restraint. It's natural to want to defend yourself or correct someone who's wronged you. But next time you're faced with disrespect, pause, take a deep breath. Let the silence do the talking. You'll find that this quiet strength not only diffuses the situation, but also reinforces your own sense of self-worth. Stop explaining yourself. One of the most empowering shifts you can make in handling disrespect is to stop feeling the need to explain yourself. Too often we fall into the trap of justifying our actions, decisions, or boundaries to people who have no right to question them. The truth is, you owe no one an explanation for how you choose to live your life. When someone disrespects your choices, their intent is often not genuine curiosity, but an attempt to impose their perspective on you. By explaining yourself, you give them permission to evaluate, critique, or invalidate your decisions. But when you stop explaining, you reclaim your power and set a clear boundary. Your life is not up for debate. I remember when I made a major life decision to pursue a passion project instead of staying in a traditional career path. The questions came flooding in. Why would you leave stability? Are you sure this is the right move? At first, I felt obligated to explain my reasons, hoping they'd understand. But the more I explained, the more I felt like I was defending myself. Then I decided to stop. When someone asked, I simply said, "Because it's what I want." That simple response ended the conversation, and I felt liberated. The act of not explaining yourself communicates confidence. It tells others that you trust your judgment and that you don't need their approval to validate your choices. This doesn't mean you're being dismissive or arrogant. It means you're prioritizing your inner peace and refusing to engage in unnecessary debates. Here's the key. Not explaining doesn't mean you're hiding anything. It means you're choosing to protect your energy and focus on what truly matters. By limiting your explanations, you create a boundary that says, "I respect myself and my decisions, and I expect you to do the same." The next time someone questions your choices, resist the urge to defend yourself. Respond with something simple like, "It feels right for me," or "This is what works best for my life." Then move on. You'll be amazed at how freeing it is to detach from the need for validation and to stand firm in your decisions. Keep your distance. One of the most powerful ways to handle disrespect is to create distance between yourself and those who constantly cross your boundaries. Not everyone deserves a place in your life, And it's okay to recognize when someone is consistently draining your energy or undermining your worth. Distancing yourself isn't about being unkind, it's about prioritizing your peace and well-being. Think of your life as a sacred space, like a garden. You wouldn't let just anyone trample through it, uprooting the flowers you've worked hard to grow. Similarly, maintaining your personal space protects the positive energy you've cultivated. This doesn't mean cutting people off dramatically. Sometimes it's as simple as reducing how often you engage with them or how much of yourself you share. I remember dealing with someone who always seemed to undermine me with backhanded compliments or subtle digs. At first, I tried to shrug it off, telling myself it wasn't worth making a fuss over. But over time, I realized how much their words lingered, making me second-guess myself. I decided to take a step back, not in anger, but in self-preservation. I stopped reaching out as often, limited our interactions, and began focusing on relationships that made me feel supported and valued. Creating distance can feel uncomfortable at first, especially if it involves people you care about or have known for a long time. Society often pressures us to maintain connections at all costs, especially with family or long-time friends. But here's the truth. You can love someone and still recognize that their behavior is toxic. You can wish them well and still choose to limit their influence on your life. Maintaining distance isn't about holding grudges. It's about protecting your energy. It allows you to see situations more clearly, free from the emotional noise that disrespect often brings. With that clarity, you can decide what kind of relationship, if any, you want to maintain. Here's a simple guideline. If someone consistently disrespects you, makes you feel small, or drains your energy, they don't deserve unlimited access to your time or attention. Start by setting small boundaries, like saying no to invitations or reducing how often you reply to their messages. As you practice this, you'll find it easier to protect your peace and make room for people who truly respect and uplift you. Remember, keeping your distance isn't about punishing anyone. It's about showing yourself the respect that others fail to give. You're not being unkind, you're simply choosing to prioritize your mental and emotional well-being. Let this boundary be a reminder that your peace matters and it's worth protecting. Hold your head high. When faced with disrespect, one of the most powerful responses is to hold your head high. This isn't just a physical act, it's a mental shift that asserts your self-worth and resilience. Disrespect often stems from an attempt to make you feel small, to undermine your confidence. By standing tall, both physically and emotionally, you send a clear, unspoken message. I know my value, and nothing you do can diminish it. Holding your head high is about embodying confidence and self-respect. It's not about arrogance or retaliation, but about showing that you are unshaken by negativity. People who disrespect others often rely on their ability to provoke a reaction, to see their target falter. When you maintain your composure and confidence, it disrupts their intentions and shifts the power dynamic in your favor. I recall a time when someone at work frequently made snide remarks about my contributions, always aiming to undermine my confidence in meetings. Initially, I found myself shrinking, avoiding eye contact and questioning my abilities. But one day, I decided I'd had enough. I walked into the next meeting with my shoulders back, head held high, and a quiet confidence that I was fully capable. Every time they tried to diminish me, I responded calmly and firmly, maintaining my poise. Over time, they stopped targeting me because they could no longer shake my confidence. This isn't just about posture, it's about your inner dialogue. Remind yourself of your strengths, your achievements, and your intrinsic worth. When you hold your head high, you're telling yourself, I am enough. And that inner confidence will naturally radiate outward, making it clear to others that you're not someone to be belittled. Practicing this mindset can be transformative. It's a way of reclaiming your power in situations where you might otherwise feel powerless. The simple act of standing tall can create a ripple effect. Others will notice your confidence and begin to treat you with the respect you deserve. Here's the deeper truth. Holding your head high isn't just a response to disrespect. It's a daily practice. It's about walking through life with the assurance that you are valuable, deserving, and capable. It's about showing up for yourself even when others fail to, and most importantly, it's about living in alignment with your self-worth, refusing to let anyone's negativity diminish your light. So, the next time you encounter disrespect, take a deep breath, straighten your shoulders, and lift your chin. Let your posture and presence speak for you. You'll feel stronger, more in control, and better equipped to face any challenge with grace and dignity. Respect starts with how you treat yourself, and holding your head high is a powerful declaration of your unwavering self-respect. Respect starts with you. The journey of self-respect begins with recognizing your intrinsic value and standing firm in it, regardless of how others may treat you. In life, you'll encounter people who challenge your boundaries, test your patience, and fail to see your worth. But the way you respond sets the tone for how others treat you. Respect is not something you wait for, it's something you establish through your actions, your presence, and your mindset. It's important to remember that your self-respect is not contingent on others' opinions or behavior. People may criticize, judge, or dismiss you, but their actions are a reflection of them, not you. By holding your ground and staying true to your values, you remind yourself and others that your worth is not up for debate. One of the simplest yet most powerful ways to embody respect is by setting boundaries. Boundaries communicate what you will and won't tolerate, and they are essential for protecting your peace and well-being. When someone crosses a line, don't hesitate to calmly and firmly let them know. This isn't about confrontation, it's about clarity. Boundaries aren't walls, they're guidelines that define how you expect to be treated. Equally important is how you carry yourself. Confidence, composure, and a sense of self-assurance are magnetic qualities that command respect. Walk into every room as if you belong there, because you do. Speak with conviction, knowing that your voice matters. When you respect yourself, it sets the standard for how others should treat you. Another key aspect of self-respect is choosing your battles wisely. Not every comment or action deserves a response. Sometimes the most dignified thing you can do is to walk away from negativity. Silence, as we've discussed, can be a powerful statement. It says, "I value my peace too much to engage in this." Letting go of the need to prove yourself to others frees you to focus on what truly matters: your growth, your happiness, and your goals. Lastly, surround yourself with people who uplift you, who respect you for who you are, and who inspire you to be your best self. The energy you allow into your life plays a significant role in shaping your self-image and your confidence. Let go of toxic relationships that drain your energy or make you doubt yourself. By doing so, you make space for positivity, growth, and genuine connection. The truth is, respect starts within. It's not about seeking validation from others, but about living in alignment with your values and treating yourself with kindness, dignity, and care. When you respect yourself, it radiates outward, influencing how others perceive and interact with you. So as you move forward, remember this: you set the standard for how others treat you. Treat yourself with the respect you deserve, and the world will follow suit. You are worthy, capable, and deserving of a life filled with respect and positivity. Stand tall, stay strong, and never forget that respect, true, lasting respect, always starts with you.